Welcome back to History of the Dish. Today's topic comes from one of our viewers, Munyaradzi Kambadi. Thanks for the suggestion. You asked, what exactly is tonic water and why does it taste so bitter? If you've ever sipped a gin and tonic, winced at the first taste, and wondered why anyone would willingly drink something so sharp and bitter, you're not alone. Behind that crisp fizz is a surprising mix of history, medicine, and colonial invention. So what's really in tonic water? Where did it come from? And how did a malaria remedy become a modern-day mixer? Stick around as we unravel the fizzy, fluorescent story of tonic water right here on History of the Dish. From humble street food to royal feasts, the journey of your favorite meals is more incredible than you know. This is the History of the Dish. Let's clear something up right away. Tonic water is not the same as sparkling water. It may look like soda water. It might even sound the same when you twist the cap and hear that satisfying hiss. But take a sip and you'll instantly taste the difference. That sharp, bitter flavor, that's quinine. Quinine is the defining ingredient that separates tonic water from any other carbonated drink. It's a naturally occurring compound extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree, which is native to the Andean forests of South America. Quinine is what gives tonic water its bitter bite. And it's also the reason tonic water was invented in the first place. Because once upon a time, quinine wasn't just a flavoring, it was medicine. To understand tonic water, we need to take a trip back to the 17th century. Picture European colonists venturing into tropical areas like Africa, India, and Southeast Asia, places where malaria was rampant. Malaria, caused by mosquito-borne parasites, was deadly, and it didn't take long for the colonists to realize they were in trouble. Enter the indigenous Quechua people of Peru, who had long used cinchona bark to treat fevers. When Jesuit missionaries witnessed this, they brought the bark back to Europe. It was later discovered that quinine, the active compound in the bark, was effective at treating and preventing malaria. Fast forward to the 1800s. British colonists in India were given quinine as a prophylactic, but there was a problem. Quinine is really bitter. So to make the medicine more palatable, they started mixing it with sugar and soda water. And just like that, tonic water was born. It started as a medicinal drink, a malaria-fighting health tonic, hence the name, tonic water. As time went on, tonic water started evolving. British officers in India began mixing it with another colonial staple, gin. The result was the now iconic gin and tonic, a drink that was both refreshing and conveniently therapeutic. But here's the twist. Over time, medical science advanced, and the amount of quinine needed to prevent malaria was reduced. Eventually, it was phased out as a mainstream treatment altogether. But tonic water stuck around, mostly because people had come to love the taste, or at least tolerate it when there was gin involved. Modern tonic water contains much less quinine than it used to. Just enough for the flavor, but nowhere near the dose required to treat illness. Today's tonic water is a far cry from its bitter, bark-based beginnings. It's now a soft drink with added sugar or sweeteners, citric acid, carbonated water, and flavorings to balance out the quinine's bitterness. If you take a look at a bottle of tonic water today, the ingredients list is pretty standardized. Carbonated water, sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar, citric acid for that little zing, and of course, quinine. Depending on the brand, you might also get citrus or herbal flavorings that round out the sharpness. Some artisanal brands have even gone back to the roots, literally, using real cinchona bark instead of synthetic quinine. These versions can look a little cloudy or even brownish, unlike the crystal clear supermarket variety, and they usually have a stronger, earthier taste. There's also a modern twist. Tonic water now comes in low-calorie or diet versions using artificial or natural sweeteners like stevia. And then there are flavor-infused tonics. Think cucumber, elderflower, grapefruit, even lavender. It's a whole little fizzy universe now. So, is tonic water healthy? Given its medicinal origin, you might assume tonic water is somehow healthy. Well, not really. Most commercial tonic waters contain as much sugar as a cola. That bitterness might make you think you're drinking something medicinal, but from a nutritional standpoint, it's more of a treat than a tonic. As for the quinine content, it's minimal. A typical glass contains around 20 milligrams of quinine, which is far below the therapeutic dosage. That's not enough to treat anything. In fact, the US FDA limits the amount of quinine allowed in beverages due to the risk of side effects in sensitive individuals. So tonic water isn't dangerous in moderation, but it's not exactly a health drink either. There are even some old wives' tales that say drinking tonic water can help with leg cramps because of the quinine. But medical experts generally advise against relying on it for that purpose. If anything, the placebo effect is doing the heavy lifting there. Here's a fun twist: literally glowing. If you shine a black light on tonic water, it fluoresces a brilliant blue. That's because quinine glows under ultraviolet light. It's one of the few drinkable substances that does that, which makes tonic water a favorite in science demos and rave parties alike. This weird glow isn't just a party trick, it's actually part of what helped chemists in the 19th century study fluorescence. Tonic water, in a way, helped light the path to discoveries in chemistry too. So the next time you order a gin and tonic, or even just sip tonic water on its own, you're tasting a story. A story that started deep in the Peruvian forests with indigenous medicine, that traveled through colonial empires and malaria epidemics, and landed in your fridge as a sparkling bitter drink. It's easy to overlook something like tonic water. It sits quietly behind the bar, waiting to be mixed with something stronger. But like many simple things, it's got a layered, surprising history bubbling beneath the surface. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of the dish. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details. Links are in the description for the list of ingredients and much more. And until next time, keep eating, keep learning, and remember, history always tastes better when you know the full true story.